What's up, guys? It's ETA Prime. No, that went so bad so fast. Okay, so here's a little walkthrough on the Easy Flash Omega. I've already shown you the pictures before. So there's no discernible load times, which is pretty slick because I read a couple of things beforehand where they were talking about, loads. So, if you go to the Easy Flash website, the card itself comes with a kernel already on it, but it doesn't have some of the basics that it needs to operate, like, the SD. So when I actually drag and drop the new kernel over onto it and start it up the first time, you just hold R when you're turning it on and keep holding it, and then the first time it actually does like a bunch of flickering flashes, and then finishes updating within a few moments. But so I went and deleted the kernel file off of there, and before I had actually removed the SD card and from the computer and went to put it back in, I read oh yeah, no, that still needs a kernel to operate. So I went in initially, and if you move through the settings awkwardly with the left hand, you've got a spot here where you can actually go in and set all the basic actions and behaviors. So real-time clock stuff I turned off because I don't need it. Oh, and now it says it's open again. Apparently you can actually save some power if you go through. So you go to set, and it gives you the option over there to there we go. So we've removed. You can see on add-ons there's a few different ones. So I will probably turn the sleep one back on because I find it's kind of a little bit of a pisser to have to fully shut it down, even though I've used the save. So I'm going to go back up to this one, and I'm going to turn sleep mode back on. I don't really need cheat because save states are frankly enough of a cheat, and also the only reason that I've been spending any time with retro gaming, so that's my big dirty secret, is I use save states a lot because I am terrible, just terrible. I've got 8 minutes to play every once in a while, and that does not give me time to develop the pattern recognition and hand-eye coordination that would be required to actually play these games well. So there it is. You can drum me out of the union if you need. So if we go back, I just have to save, and so it says set, and then I'm going to exit out. Now this is kind of cool. So it's just a basic questions thing. So you can do L and A multi-boot. I haven't gotten that to work. Honestly, I didn't really want to anyways, because I'm not entirely sure what it does yet, so I'm going to do a little bit of looking into that. L plus start, deleting an actual file. It is kind of neat that you can just delete stuff directly on the unit if you're like, this game sucks, I'm never going to play MLB 2003 for the Game Boy Color, then yeah, you could just delete it and get rid of it. But I think the whole idea is that it's nice to have the whole libraries on there. So I borrowed some tips from Travis's filing system and just went through. I'll show you. But the online manual QR code scanner, that's pretty cool. I went in the hard way originally, and then once I realized that they had it there, that's pretty neat. Recently played list. This is pretty slick. Start and select the top two options. I've actually used those. I'm going to show you those. So let's go back a couple of steps. This is the NOR flash. So if you want to establish a game as a hardcore one and have it the game itself, it's a deeper level of saving, so you can actually apparently this was the only way that they could do the old one. So John, you'll already know that I'm sure you already know all about this whole NOR flash thing where it actually has to build the database and save it, and then you have to go over into it. You said your Easy Flash 4 did something like that. So luckily this one does not, and it also loads lightning fast. So I did, because they just said it was part of how the whole thing works, load the cheat and the images folder over. That's actually part of the kernel file that you download. The images file actually includes the cover art for everything, which is pretty cool. RTS, as you would guess, is real-time saves. So these are a few that I went in and fiddled with. Found out, unfortunately, the RTS, you got to keep the real-time saving on the auto mode because it'll just corrupt or not save. I think if I were to go into like Legend of Zelda and go to save it again on an actual GBA game, I could probably do the save state in SRM, but I wouldn't actually be able to save in the game, which seems like a bad idea. So the whole point is to be able to use the save state and also be able to save legit in the game if you needed to be able to get back to something, because save states are a little more precarious than the actual built-in saving mechanism for the game itself. So we'll go back. And then we've got the libraries. So I went through and kind of did the same thing as the EverDrive. And so we've got that, and I just dumped the entire Game Boy Color library into there as well. Game Boy Color runs well enough on this thing. I don't think I'm going to be doing anything but this unit because it's pixel perfect on there. And apparently, and a few of the games apparently that have like the Super Game Boy add-on stuff actually have borders already built in, which is kind of cool. So I checked out Blaster Master Enemy Below on Game Boy Color, and it actually had a built-in border already set up, which is pretty neat. The only thing is that this ROM set for Game Boy Color doesn't actually have the SGB. I would have to actually look up a list to find out which ones are SGB enabled, because I tried to use like one of the clean lists where it didn't have a bunch of the extra junk, and there I go. I hamstrung myself. So if you were to go in, hang on for a second. It's not the fastest scroll, but it's enough that you can actually still see what's going on. Oh, so here I'll show you Blaster Master. With GBC, it only does the clean boot thing, so you can just load the game itself, but it still activates, there you go, borders, but still pixel perfection. And the border looks kind of cool and not horrible and distracting, so it's pretty neat. So I'm going to, just got a little stand here that I can use. Give me 1 second. I will need more heavy things to set up this. Give me a sec. That might work in a pinch. So you press L, R, and start at the same time, and then we have access to other settings. So I can actually do a save state, sure, why not? On GBC, Manage SRAM doesn't do a dang thing. You can do sleep, which is kind of neat, but essentially I'm looking for the exit. So really fast load for the menus. For other GBC games, somebody asked about Legend of Zelda, so let's just check out Zelda quick. Ooh, okay, this is worth noting. Konami GB Collection. So they actually went through on GBC. I hadn't even really investigated this before, but actually took some really cool-ass games from the original and did a real colorizing. So Castlevania. Yeah, so I'm actually actively playing this right now on the DMG, but pretty slick. So just exit. And then I will go and pull up Zelda as requested. Just got distracted by the colorizing thing. Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. So someone seemed to think this might have a border as well. Ooh, it does! That's kind of sexy, and I didn't even do that on purpose. That's pretty neat. So yeah, it looks like any of the SGB enhanced ones will actually have borders inclusive, though this is the DX file, so either way, that's pretty neat. Neato. I'm super old. Exitez-vous. Okay, and now GBA. Now I've played GBA obviously on the Retroflag unit. The GPI is great, and again, there's a particular platformer that shall remain unnamed that I'm going to end up finishing most likely on the GPI, which is fine. It's fine. I was just really looking forward to playing that particular one on original hardware. I might just go back and start it from the beginning again. I'm kind of starting to finally get good at it. So, let us find a game. What's a crowd pleaser here? Ooh, so when you hit start, it actually brings up recent play. Now, this, given the fact that we have such a massive library on here, this is pretty sleek. This is going to be something I make use of a lot, because there's a reason why I went through and did the filing system for all the rest of this, because that's a lot of stuff on here. And again, the paradox of choice, as someone put so nicely earlier. Well, you know what? Might as well bring up Zelda Minish Cap. Okay, so now we have the option based on the screen that we saw right at the beginning. So you can write this to Nord Clean. Again, don't know why you would bother. I wonder if you write it to Nord Clean, maybe you can actually do SRM saving. I'll fiddle with that later. In the meantime, I'm going to boot with add-on because I want to be able to try the whole RTS thing. I realize you've all seen a Game Boy Advance before. This is really only new to me. So, in game, we can do LR and start, and then we have reset, save, and load. So reset takes you right back to internal menus, so you don't have to actually turn off and on again. And then save and load, that's just your RTS, right? But let's go back to Zelda one more time. Boot with the add-on. Clean boot is just if you want to just boot the game, like usual. So if you go LR and select, that puts it into sleep, and then you can close her up, and then you press start and select together to come out of sleep. So I had to look up the button combinations a couple of times, and there are a lot more button combinations. So the online manual is pretty handy. I guess one of the things about EverDrive just having the button built into the damn into the damn cartridge is that it's kind of spoiled me for other things at the moment. So I think I'd made rumblings about potentially returning the other EverDrive and just getting a junior based on this, but I'm gonna give that some more thought. I've already put a fair amount of work into a couple of games, and the EverDrive just works so freaking beautifully on the DMG. I don't think I'm going to be playing any Game Boy Color games, though. I think the EverDrive is going to be a purely DMG device, or yeah, for a while. I'm just going to leave it in that machine. Because now that we got this, if I'm going to be doing Game Boy Color, I'm going to do it on this thing. At least until I actually get my Game Boy Color reshelled and sorted out. So that's a fun project for later. Okay, as usual, guys, feel free to subscribe, like me in the comment section, and yeah, this might be my new favorite device. Ugh, poor guy. It's just merciless. Okay, yeah, good chat.